Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, and nerds alike. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast with your host, Gareth, who's feeling a little on the hungover side, and Keith, who's, well, it's Keith. There's no known cure, unfortunately. So, sorry, Keith.
Yeah, no. There is no known cure from being a Keith. Yeah, sorry.
So before we get into the nice chatty bit, this week's show we've got 3 bits of news. We'll be talking about Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman, was on Netflix, and we'll finish off talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So, without further ado, Keith, how are we doing?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, usual week over, new week begins. Fun. But yeah, some good TV on. Master of the Air finished this week, which was so no more sort of decent Apple TV shows until the next one comes out. But that was good. It finished on a kind of high, and then they did a documentary that was interesting. So I enjoyed that. Shogun was bloody good this week.
I haven't got around to watching that because I was watching The Gentleman.
You're missing out. Shogun was good this week. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it kind of finished on a oh shit. So yeah. Have I watched anything else this week? No, we watched The Gentleman. I've watched it twice because there isn't a lot of good TV, so I've just been watching stuff that I've kind of enjoyed.
Good. I'm working my way through Stargate Universe at the moment. I forgot how much I enjoy that show. I really do. I'm amazed at how good it is. But without further ado, I think it's time we got into the news.
You're listening to the Monkey Nut Punch podcast.
Yes. So, I was, how can I put it politely? I was kind of looking forward to X-Men 97. I was like, could be good, might be good. And then I listened to the showrunner, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be absolute garbage. So making waves in the entertainment industry, particularly amongst X-Men fans, Beau DeMaio, an out gay writer known for his work on The Witcher, Moon Knight, Star Trek: New Worlds, the original, and credited as creator of the highly anticipated Disney Plus reboot series X-Men 97. Just days before its premiere, has been fired, according to the Hollywood Reporter. There's no clear explanation for this, but following his firing, his social media presence vanished, causing him to recently re-emerge to platforms like Instagram, Threads, etc. So I heard that Mr. DeMaio had an OnlyFans account, and it was described as a not so explicit OnlyFans account. Yeah, no, I think they fired him because they're a family-friendly entertainment company, and OnlyFans doesn't mix.
Yeah, and I mean, black, gay, he wasn't cast by Disney, was he?
He wasn't cast. No, he wasn't cast. I don't believe he would be cast for such a role, just to tick some boxes and get some diversity points. Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing about not so explicit OnlyFans, it depends on how you do OnlyFans these days.
Well, no. It depends on your definition of not so explicit. So I heard not so explicit OnlyFans first. Then I heard no. I went onto his OnlyFans site and he's got his wang out.
Okay.
Okay, he's not. It's like softcore porn. I think is probably the best way of describing it.
Again, they probably didn't check into. I mean, again, but this is. It's a failing of him accepting the job, but it's a failing of people not doing their goddamn jobs in making sure that these people are sound. But even so, again, this is Disney ticking boxes, and they probably didn't pay too much occasion because unless you're white male, we're not going to do a thorough check on you because we've got to now justify employing you rather than anybody else in these day and age, and that's how it seems to be. And this is not the first time it's happened where they've had to fire somebody or somebody's past has come back to bite them in the ass. But this is the first time Disney's fired somebody. I suppose when it's a man with his wang hanging out on the TV, running around with his willy hanging out, shall we say? Let's do it English style. I think you can't, you have to fire him. Being racist, that's perfectly acceptable because you can't be racist to white people, apparently.
Apparently.
Those people get away with it. But I think somewhere you have to draw the line. And I suppose this is where they've drawn the line. But personally, he shouldn't have been the only one fired. The people that bloody well checked into him and cast him in the role should also, be severely scrutinised for their lack of checking.
Yeah. It's oh my god, there was that, and it's just before X-Men '97 comes out, so I'm hoping it's the OnlyFans and not the fact that the TV show's a complete disaster because they've done 2 seasons of it apparently. So,
Would it surprise you if it is? It's Disney Plus. It's Disney. It's more of a miracle when they get it right. So,
well, it's a happy accident if they get it right. I've not seen them do that for a good while.
No, I don't think they're capable of it. As I said, I'm seeing nothing at the moment to say that Disney are going to turn around. The rumor is that Patty Jenkins is back working on that disastrous Star Wars film. What's her face is still running around saying that the other one's coming out. You've got there's just nothing in the Marvel lineup that jumps out and says, "Wow, pick me." There's nothing in the TV lineup that sounds all that exciting at the moment. Nothing I've seen. As I said, if Disney Plus didn't cost me like £1 a year, I wouldn't have it. Although I probably would for Shogun. I probably would have it for Shogun. Because that is the only thing that I've seen on Disney Plus recently that's been any good. So Disney are screwed, and I maintain that.
So annoying because the X-Men trailer came out a couple of weeks back. I watched the X-Men trailer and went, "Oh, my camera's died."
Oh no!
Oh,
did it give you the feels? Did it give you the feels? Because it gave me a few of the feels from the original. Because I used to watch the original cartoon.
Yeah, it gave me a feels. My mum liked the original cartoon. I think the whole family, except my dad, loved that cartoon. The annoying thing is they showed a picture of Rogue's ass from the '97 version versus the new version, and they've removed her butt completely. So I'm annoyed at that because I liked Rogue's ass. That was a bonus whilst growing up. I'll be honest with you. Well, trust me. You go back and you watch that. And you go,
I know what you're talking about because I remember it. Yellow trousers, green. Yeah, I watched that cartoon too. It was one of the ones that I watched religiously on a Saturday morning because I liked the X-Men too. The X-Men was cool. Yeah, I remember watching that cartoon. It was that and Spider-Man. Those Saturday morning cartoons that I remember watching.
That was absolutely fantastic. That Spider-Man. It's just I don't know. This is I wanted that X-Men to be good, and then when the gay guy came out and goes, "Oh, they were more interested in the fact that I was, what do you call it, gay, and the apocalypse, and sorry, and they wanted to know about my experience and this, that, and the other," and I'm just like, "Oh fuck me, please knock this shit off, please, please, for the love of God and everything
But
that's important."
apparently, I read a rumor this week that what's his face, um, what's his face, leader of Disney. My brain's died. He put the kibosh on Eternals 2, which Feige was making, and put the kibosh on Ant-Man 4 and any kind of sequel to Captain Marvel. Apparently, he had to personally had to stop those movies being made because they were going to get made. I mean, it's just that I don't think Disney gives a fuck about making money. I generally don't.
No, I don't think they do either. Sorry, I just had to make sure. Look, there you go.
Yeah, it wasn't us.
See the joke about Captain America's ass? So, just for illustrative purposes, there. So yeah, that's not good. I'll probably watch the first 4 episodes of it, and then you'll just hear me. That'll be a rant for weeks because it's coming out soon. I think it's coming out towards the end of March.
I
So
heard.
yeah. All right, let's move on to.
Hi, this is Nigel, and I'm talking in my lovely narrator's voice. Bask in its loveliness. But don't bask for too long! We need your help! Come to YouTube and watch our videos for the love of God! Well, send Keith round to your next barbecue and he'll eat all your food. Toasty! You have been warned.
So, sorry, always makes me laugh. So, we're diving into the horizons of Star Trek Legacy, a potential spin-off stirring the hearts of Trekkies worldwide. In a recent conversation with Collider, well done on that source, Keith, Ed Speleers, known for his role as Jack Crusher in Star Trek Picard, shares his optimisms and insights about the future of the beloved universe. Speleers, in a recent addition to the Star Trek family, quickly became a fan favorite, embodying a character with deep roots and promise in the future franchise. Today, we explored the significance of the idea of Star Trek Legacy and whether we will get a new crew with Jack Crusher under the captaincy of 7 of 9. So, Collider, Keith, come on.
Yeah, I know, but it was I mean, there were other articles about it, but it came from Collider, so I thought go from the original source. But apparently, I mean, he has said that you know there is he's hinted that they want to make it, they just need us to be noisy. I keep hearing this, but on the other hand, it hasn't really died down. Every time Legacy comes up, it still hits the news. People, it's wanted. You know, Discovery's coming to. I still can't believe they're going ahead with this fucking Academy series. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it except a small amount of people. You know, if Discovery was that popular, why would it be why would it be cancelled after season 5? Why wouldn't they continue to make it? So why on Green?
Why wouldn't Netflix continue to fund it?
Yeah. Would you make a follow-up series of it? Basically, probably starring the lamest of all of the characters in there. I mean, it's just I swear to God, these people live in a different dimension, and I genuinely despair at how these people think they can continue making these series when it's obvious to the rest of the world that nobody wants to watch Discovery. Discovery's not Star Trek. I'm fed up of people telling me it is. It's not. Objectively, it's not. I mean, each season, each trailer, it becomes more and more of a diversity fucking thing. It's a platform for all these people to go, look at how diverse we are. Look at how gay friendly we are. Look at how wonderful our crew is. You watch these tour videos and they're cringeworthy bad. because they're all going around there and it's all about their political platform. They don't give a shit about what they're making, as long as they can all be gay friends together and make and talk about gay rights and all this kind of crap the whole way through the show. It's shit. It's wonderfully bad. And I don't understand how they're going to make another series. I just don't get that if that gets made, there has got to be some almost borderline criminally bad management at Paramount. There just has to be. And I really don't get it, and I never will.
I've reached a mad conclusion that they should put Tom Cruise in charge of Paramount. Seriously. He gets the idea of a blockbuster film and what makes people want to come to the cinema and watch things. So even if they just put him in charge of the film division, yeah, then that would cause the TV division to go, well, hang on a second. We're giving people what they want. This is good.
I mean, Ed Speleers, he said, look, he's up for making it. The rest of the crew are up for you're making it. I mean, even Patrick Stewart has sort of indicated that he'd come back, even if it was in less of a role, just a cameo role. They all want to do it. If what's his face had got his way, there would have been lots more crew members on there. Half of the DS9 crew want to come back. Even Chief O'Brien, the actor behind him, said, "Yeah, I'll be up for it." When asked, even like Junior, there are all these cast members willing to come back to do it. You could make this amazing series, and you have got the opportunity to ride off the coattails of Picard season 3 and literally save your franchise. You could then make future shows set in that world. Fuck Discovery, fuck bloody Star Trek. Stop making prequels. Fuck that. Just make episodes after Picard season 3 and after Legacy. You don't even have to have the original people in it. They could turn up now and again. Look at how fucking happy we were when we saw Tuvok for less than 5 minutes, and it was amazing. You could do all this, and it would, and just make it like you made Picard season 3. You could still have your diverse characters. Just write a fucking good story that feels like Star Trek. I'm fed up of hearing modern audiences. Star Trek is not a modern audience. We're all in our fucking 40s and up. Just make it for us, and we'll turn up in our millions. There's still millions of us out there. We'll come to your goddamn conventions. We'll buy all of your memorabilia. We'll buy all of the fucking merch. This is not goddamn rocket science.
I know. It's like kind of people are crying out for burgers. Make fucking burgers. Yeah, that's simple.
Quark, yes, I'd love to see Quark. I'd love to see him back on the screen. I love it. I love that character, and it could be done so easily. Stop making shit that people don't want. Stop subverting our expectations. Stop thinking you're doing fan service, and just make what we're asking for. Stop. Make burgers. What? Sorry.
That's fine.
That's my rant done.
Okay. We were supposed to save that for after the news, but hey,
yes, I know. But I mean, he is saying that we've got to stay noisy, but we are noisy. But every time it comes up, people go, "Yes, I want it." Every time it comes up here, we go, "Yes, we want it." It hasn't changed in a year and a half. It has not changed. Make Legacy. Stop making everything else. Stop making stupid cartoons. Stop making any of that crap. Yes, they have fan bases, but they're not that big. Make Picard season 3. Amazon have already said they want another season. They're offering to fund some of it. What is the problem?
It's like no one's offered that for fucking Discovery, have they? Well, no one knows Discovery. No, we're not.
Because it was one of Amazon's most watched TV shows, Picard season 3. It did incredibly well in the ratings. It was on the Nielsen ratings, for God's sake. It did really well. It pleased fans. It restored everybody's love of Star Trek. Everybody was talking about it for 10 weeks. And then all of a sudden, we went back to mediocre Star Trek with Strange New Worlds. It is still way, way better than Discovery, but we don't need Strange New Worlds. We don't need fancy musical episodes. We don't need any of that crap. We don't need all these newfangled bloody fucking SJWs who are all freaking nasty people You know, every time he said, "I don't want a musical episode, I just want a Star Trek." Oh, this is Star Trek. You're just don't need any of that shit. Fuck these people. Just make Star Trek for the fans, the proper fans, the real fans, not fans of this modern tripe. The real fans. Oh, you make money.
And on that note, we'll move on to our next one.
Watching the content so far? Why don't you leave a comment and join in with us?
Right, so I quite liked the original Crow. Found it very emo, dark, depressing, miserable, but it worked. Yeah. And yeah, so they decided to remake The Crow, or do continue The Crow or whatever, and this is the trailer, and I'm going to just periodically stop this for copyright claim instance, so...
I think I could go full emo.
What's the first thing you liked about me?
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
That... anyway.
You feel like my person.
Well, that's not bad.
You feel like my bus.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I saw things.
Right, just up until that point, yeah, watching it, it came across like a French Connection, Eau de Toilette Diesel kind of advert with the whole lovers in bed. Just needed to be in black and white and slow down in places.
I shouldn't have seen any of it.
Julie! Julie! Please don't do this!
It's bloody music. So, I'm gonna...
One song.
So,
And sometimes something so bad
sorry, you
happens.
can see that part of the screen. It's...
That the soul cannot rest.
So, in the original Crow thing, yeah, he dies and the Crow brings him back. You don't see anything of that, the afterlife or any kind of supernatural things. It just happens, yeah? You get a feeling that there is a higher power in action. This kind of removes that mystique element to it, which is...
Until you put the wrong things right. You were given the power of a god. But you're running out of time to save her.
So, it looks crap. It looks like a Netflix adaptation of The Crow. Yeah, the other one was done. It was moodier. It was like if you watched another film called Dark City. It had that kind of dark gothic dystopian kind of vibe thing, and this is I'm trying to explain a bit. Well, maybe it's the people who put the trailer together, but it's got Gillian Anderson in it. But
I honestly,
that's not Gillian Anderson.
that's the bird from the Foundation who plays the creepy robot.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because it just upsets me. I'll be honest with you. The whole thing upsets me. I don't
Feels
like
it's-
it.
Yeah, I don't quite understand why they're remaking it. Again, just Hollywood is screwed. Remakes
Don't know, 'cause
after remakes.
I don't know what they're fucking doing, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, this is why, you know, I am trying to celebrate things that are good. Now look, Shogun's a remake, but it's actually a bloody good remake. We'll talk about The Gentleman in a minute. There has been some good TV on this, but again, it's coming from. I wouldn't say it's typical Hollywood. You know, Apple TV is not Hollywood. And you know, again, Apple TV when it comes to quality at the moment is considering how it started, considering how it put women in front of everything, and was ultra woke, it's really scaled that back and has now become something more. It's making semi decent TV. I mean, I'm even enjoying the what's his face, Noel Fielding thing about Dick Turpin on Apple TV, because it is now, look, this wasn't acquired humor, and I understand why people might not like. I was a fan of the Mighty Boosh. I really enjoyed the Mighty Boosh, and this is kind of like a follow up to that. It hasn't got like Julian in it, but it is very much in tow with that, and I've really enjoyed that. It has me creasing up laughing. It's weird. It's everything you would think from him, and it's really enjoyable. So that's on again. Apple TV's leading it, and I just things like this. Yeah, we've got to just go. But I get you. It's not. I wouldn't play it through. I saw the trailer and I went, yeah. In fact, I mean, I know we're coming over to the comments, but Biffa nailed it. That's what I thought. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's before we move on to the comments.
The pool never gets old.
Now I need to make more of them. The problem is I need to make more of them on my own.
Never gets old. Never gets old.
Let's go on to the comments, shall we? I need the music. So, as always, first in the room. Hello, Biffa. How we doing? And that's good. Got Duncan. He enjoyed The Gentleman. I watched The Gentleman. And then we got cancelled Amazon due to adverts. Yeah, that's something that's come up. They started putting adverts into the Amazon programs. So
they haven't done here yet. Ooh, I forgot to send you a new story. I've just suddenly remembered it. We'll cover it after the comments because this is a good one.
Oh, no, Keith, you missed the window.
Oh, all right, we'll have to leave it till next week, but it's a good one.
So
it involves Reacher. You need to see the latest casting of season 3. Nige, if you're watching or you do watch this back, go check out the latest casting. You're gonna smile.
Okay.
Carry on.
What's Snack Shack in theatres? Low, it was funny. I haven't seen that. I have no idea what the hell that is. Biffa sounds like he's making shit up.
No,
I have
that
no
rings a bell. I'm not sure if I've seen the trailer to that. Something just in the back of my head. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. With a bit of luck, Gareth's camera will not die. I need to swap the battery out on it. I've got a different battery pack. I think that'd be, yeah. Oh, I like that. My rogue will be played by Rebecca Ferguson. Yes.
Yep.
We need to do one for what's the wish? That bird from Madam Web.
Oh, you're not Madam Web. You're talking about what's her face? Yes, Sydney Sweeney. Oh God, yes. God, yes.
I need to put one together for Sydney Sweeney.
It's the only reason I actually want to watch that movie.
She doesn't wear that. It's the red carpet footage is the best.
Yes. Yes. Oh. God,
Wow, you got a notification. Most people use the Twitch. This is usually, what do you call it? Subscribe to us on Twitch and use the Twitch notification to sort that out. Yeah, see, look, here you go. Here's an example. Hi, Steve. I use the Twitch notification because, yeah, the Twitch notification works, which is funny. Quark, yep. Quark would be great in Star Trek Legacy. That would be good. Yeah. Curry 24 looks like Pennywise going through a high school goth phase. Oh, that would be a much more interesting thing. So yeah, they turned Crow into Post Malone. Post Malone. Anyway. No, this is the truth one. The Crow feels like the CW hero super. Yes, I wouldn't say upgraded fight sequences because yeah, that's probably the best description there. And with that,
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. You talked about the CW superhero shows. I still quite can't get over it because I watched it when it was originally on. But you know, like the most popular streaming show of last year was Suits, right? Which you know is where was Prince Harry's wife came from. And as much as everybody hates her now, she was hot in that show. And the library scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go check it out. He was good.
I'll stick with Rebecca Ferguson. Thank you very much.
No, trust me, the library scene. It will do it. But they are, because of that, and purely because of that, they are making a spin-off show called Suits LA, which could be quite interesting. And it is starring Stephen Amell in the lead role, which might work. So I'm sort of holding out hope that might be quite a good show because I enjoyed the original Suits. I liked the characters. It was, slightly exaggerated characters, but I did. And in the last season, it had what's her face from Star Trek, Tasha Yar, playing this fucking nasty bitch, and she was a good bad guy. She was a good bad guy.
See, my problem Suits is the total premise is that you've got someone pretending to be a lawyer, inviting them all these legal cases, which means that when he gets found out, all those legal cases are allowed a review.
He did, and it does, and he goes to they
But
dealt with that.
But they're not going to be done. I know. I sounds awful. I know lawyers. That sounds terrible, actually. I know lawyers. Not like I hang around with Saul Goodman or anything, but I hang around. I talk to people in legal departments in big corporations. That's the best way of describing it. And they would never take that risk ever in the history of anything.
Yeah, but I mean, Lewis Litt would never have been a lawyer. But I mean, the show itself was highly exaggerated, but as a piece of entertainment, it was good. It was never something to be taken too seriously. But as a piece of entertainment, it was entertaining. And I funny enough, rewatched it, and I had no idea everybody else was watching it on last year. And I enjoyed it again. All of it. I liked the characters. I think it's because the characters were nice. Mostly. I mean, they had their moments, but you liked most of the characters in it. And the bad guys were clearly bad guys, and there was none of this silly bollocks that you have now, in shows. And it was just a good show. And it's been written by the original people, so the original producer, production car, and it is going into production this month. So it's happening. Which, maybe we'll get some more good TV. But talking of good TV, Gareth, we should talk about The Gentleman.
Yes, we should talk about Netflix's The Gentleman, which was released, was it last week? Yeah, that was. I found it entertaining. The main character Eddie and Susie made a good thing. It was weird. Do you know what it described me of? Described it. It was Monarch of the Glen meets Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it wasn't pure Guy Ritchie. I mean, it's still one of the best things Guy Ritchie's done in a while. I like The Gentleman film. I do quite like that film. The trouble is with Guy Ritchie, when Guy Ritchie's at his best, there's loads of quotes in there, right? And Snatch and Lock, Stock, which we are huge fans of. I can quote those fucking films until I'm blue in the face. And I love those films. And there wasn't a lot of quotable stuff in this, but it did have a lot of Guy Ritchie's sort of exaggerated characters. I mean, only in the mind of Guy Ritchie can you come up with a God-fearing, coke-dealing crime lord from Liverpool. Fucking genius.
I like that too. And I also like the hints for second season because he says he's got God and Jesus on his side, and then the guy goes, not my Jesus, the good Jesus, when he was talking to him in the thing. Because at the beginning, the whole thing starts off with. Let's explain the premise. Yeah, so it's loosely based on the 2020 film The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey in it, and one of the premises on that was that Matthew McConaughey had hired a load of aristocrats and toffs and stuff who were asset rich but cash poor. He hired their estates and built underground weed farms on there. So you've got Eddie, who's a captain in the army, and he's been sent home because his father's dying. Anyway, his father dies. He's the second oldest son, and he finds out that he has inherited a lot rather than his oldest brother, which is Freddie, who is he's fucking useless. I think it's the best way of describing him. He is terminally useless. Everything that he got involved in just got worse. Anyway, starts off weed farm, this, that, and the other, and the opening premise is that his brother is £8 million in the hole to a load of Scouse gangsters, headed up by one of my favourite voice artists, Peter Serafanowicz, who plays our wind puckered Scouse. Anyway, he makes him. He talks to the person responsible for the weed farm. Her name's Susie Glass. Her dad's a big time gangster, and he asks her for some help. She manages to get it down to 4 million. They manage to get the 4 million. Then his brother takes the 4 million. Well, takes 2 of the 4 million and places it on a fight, which then gets lost. But lucky for him, they don't place the bet, so they go. So he asks Susie and her associates to go round and beat the shit out of the person who took the money from her, gets it back. Then it's like, okay, you just need to do a chicken dance and tell and to EIEIO and say you're sorry and whatnot. Anyway, I'm watching this and it's like, oh, he's going to run away. Yeah, he's going to run away, this, that, and the other. And then when I saw him doing the coke, it was like, oh my God, he's going to shoot him. Yeah. So I'm watching it, and it's nothing wrong with knowing what's coming, because sometimes it's that you still get that. Good writing will let you know something's coming, and when it comes, it's still a bloody shock. So he shoots Peter Serafanowicz, and then his associate, who's supposed to be counting the £4 million in cash that they managed to negotiate it down to, then starts running. And it's
There's a chase.
it kind of then stumbles from there, because he needs to get money for this, that, and the other. His brother is this God-fearing lunatic. Yeah,
I thought that whole scene, right, was improvised between Sanovich and the guy that plays Freddy. The whole thing, right, and where I it was always going to end with Freddy shooting him, but the whole "be the chicken" and all that shit, that was all Sanovich doing it. But even the bit when Freddy comes in with the gun and Sanovich stands and goes "fuck off,"
yeah,
just had me in fits of laughter. Oh, you need to be the fucking chicken. And then when he comes in, Freddy shoots like, fuck off. There were moments that do. I liked the 5th episode with the Pikeys. The 5th episode with the Pikeys was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I liked the characters were good. So you got Eddie is the second oldest brother, who's basically you follow. He's the gentleman character. He's the one that they're trying to sort out. And then you got Susie Glass, who's I thought she was going to get set up to be the villain of the whole thing towards the end, and I thought that'd be quite a good, a nice little twist to the whole thing. You talk about strong female characters and stuff. She wasn't like a man, but she knew the lay of the land. She could navigate it. She was a plotter. She always remained calm. This, that, and the other. She knew the rules. And that's because she grew up with her father, who was a criminal, and this is just second nature, and it kind of made sense. But yeah, Mercy was the character that when she Mercy and a machete. Yeah.
Oh fuck me! What an evil bitch! I love that. I mean, Jesus, she was nuts. Again, the thing I like about it is, okay, it doesn't quite have the wit and the sort of those really sort of winning lines that you used to get from lots of it's a deal, it's a steal, it's the sale of a fucking century. Fuck it, Nick.
Fuck it, Nick. I think I'll keep it. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and all of those sort of one-liners in there and things like and there were so many in Lock Stock. And I mean, even in Snatch, quick before the Germans get it, and all that kind of stuff from Turkish and that. There wasn't that. There wasn't the dialogue, the clever dialogue that you get usually in a good Guy Ritchie film. There were some lines in there. There were some great lines. I mean, to me, I loved Ray Winston, and I always do like Ray Winston. And he was on form in this.
Who was the guy in the Italian Job who lived in the prison, played by Noel Coward?
Oh, Oh, what was his name? Mr. Oh shit! Now you've got me.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
know. I
know who
can't
you
remember
mean.
his name either.
I know
I'd
who
have
you
to
mean,
Google
though.
it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Um, but yes, he was slightly channeling him in some ways. But I liked it. But he did swear, and he was still typically EastEnder. And it was something cunt line that he came out with that really made me laugh. But the thing I liked about Susie Glass was that she was real. She was real. I have known I know women like her, like from my
Mr.
dad's side
Bridger,
of the
that was
family.
his name.
Mr. Bridger, that was it. I've known, and she was incredibly human when her brother got the shit kicked out of her. And again, I mean, what's her face? The actress is a very good actress. I mean, I will always know her as Effie from Skins, but she was very, very good in this, and I loved all of her outfits that she had. There was a lot to like about this. It was one of the best things I've seen on Netflix in a long while. Is it pure Guy Ritchie? No. But it does have his eccentric characters in it. I thought Vinnie Jones as the gamekeeper, understated. Really, again, it was pure Vinnie from. There was a rage there, but you don't really see it. But when he turns up with the shotguns and shit, and and the bit where he's got all those weapons in the last episode, and he goes, "You do employ me to kill vermin, sir."
Yeah, I like that too. It was, and then you've got it's ironic because you had Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Esposito, the guy who plays Gus Fring, and it's like, what does he do? He does meth. I'm like, oh. And then there was a reference to some burger place too. They own some
Yeah.
fast food chain as well.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, they are really leaning into that.
They had a bit of fun with that, but he was not Gus Fring. People said, oh, he was channeling Gus. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was much more joyful in this, and yes, there was a menace to him, and I think that's going to come back because I think that I think we're going to start off with that where we left off with that meeting, because obviously he fucked over Ray Winston.
I think that what they're going to be doing is it'll be them playing a game of chess, but they'll be playing chess in the real world with their little empires, competing against each other. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I think that's how it's going to work. But it was good. The humor. My problem was I was expecting a Guy Ritchie film, and as you said before, dialogue snappy. It's the good Guy Ritchie stuff is very lean. There's nothing in there that's not of any significance or doesn't add to the storyline or has payoffs later. And because of that, we don't get the same. But as a TV series on its own, it sounds odd. If I remove the fact that it's Guy Ritchie, I enjoy it. I will be honest with you. So yeah, it's a thing.
I do think it was. I enjoyed it. There were moments of pure Guy Ritchie there. There were moments of pure Guy Ritchie there, and there was a little bit of snappy dialogue. I think a lot of things came back. Those characters, they all sort of come back at the end, so they all link back. I mean, the guy they beat the shit out of comes back at the end and gets his comeuppance in a beautiful way. The dodgy sort of cartel woman. God, Christ,
Mercy.
Yeah, Mercy gets her just desserts. I'm not sure. It's deliberately left ambiguous. Whether at the end where he fires the gun, whether he actually kills him or not. I don't know. So that'll be interesting. I think he probably does, but maybe he doesn't. We don't know. But again, I just think it was cast well. Ray Winston was. I love Ray Winston, and I liked Ray Winston in this. The bit where the Duke comes back to him, and there's that again, typical Ray Winston. He's smiling, but at any minute he can go completely nuts. It's like, when the Duke comes in, I think in the final, you got some fucking balls, haven't you?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know, it's because I've known people like that, and I know people who know Ray Winston. Again, it's all really incestuous in the East End of London. But I know I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I thought it was one of the better things on TV. I've watched it twice because I knew there was a few things missing. And again, I think the 5th episode with the Pikeys is brilliant. We need more Pikey stuff in it. Because, he likes a good Pikey, doesn't he?
Yeah, true.
He does like a Pikey. And having seen all of his other TV series he's done, like, the first episode of the Lot of Stock and TV series was good. Then it kind of fell off the end where Guy Ritchie wasn't involved in it. And the Snatch TV series, it was okay. Rupert Grint was quite funny in it, but it was nothing compared to the movie. Whereas this did kind of channel some of the movie. I mean, I like the original Gentleman movie. I thought Hugh Grant in that was brilliant.
Yeah,
and the way, and the way that backs and forths, and it only comes all together at the end, and it's all based on. I liked that.
Part of me was hoping that Matthew McConaughey was going to turn up at the end.
Yeah,
It's like I've got my other rival, and then it's Matthew McConaughey's the other rival. But hey,
yeah, but I think it was an alternative universe, wasn't it? So, but look, I mean, there's definitely room for a season 2. And I think it could be equally as entertaining. I loved all the way the use of music in this. Again, the people who were using the music and the way they used the music, it was a character at points. I loved the exaggerated characters. I loved the dodgy, guy, ginger guy, dodgy ginger guy. I loved what's his face in the weed farm, the stoner.
Oh. I know someone like that.
Yeah, I
he
do
drives
as
a
well.
bus in. He drives a bus in Wolverhampton.
Again, just great characters, and nothing woke in it really. The female characters were real. There was a sense of morality in this show, which is unheard of these days, even on Netflix. So. Again, as much as it's all about criminals and weed empires and things, it's only weed. It's not like they were. Oh yeah, there's a few killings, but arguably those people deserve it. Including that guy called Keith. That's like, they shot Keith, bastards. I mean, he had it coming, but
I know Keith, you definitely had it coming.
There's a morality in this show. That's what I mean. Yeah. Right. Shall we talk about Harry Potter then? The second.
Right. Let's just let's just catch up with a few bits in the chat because there's some bits we got there in the chat. So before we start off, so we got, oh my god. Crow 2025 looks like Pennywise has gone through his goth phase. I think we covered that one. Yeah, here we go. So, Coast to Coast. It's probably ruined discuss, but I could not watch all of Poor Things. I think the Academy was in some serious dugs because that movie was beyond me. Trust me, I'm out there. All you need to know is the best film of last year was Godzilla -1.
Yeah. And that did get an award. That did win the Oscar.
For special effects. On a budget of fuck all versus $200 million budgets, it got best special effects. Yeah. Which is good. Didn't like Emma Stone's furious jumping. I'm gonna just stay quiet about that.
I think I know what he's hinting at because I've read the premise to it. It doesn't really fill me with like wanting to go and see it.
I don't know. She's got mad eyebrows. That's the thing that gets me.
Yeah.
I thought they were monobrows. I just had a quick Google search. I'm sure she had my eyebrows for that one. She had like a big monobrow, and then I checked, and it's like no. So, yeah.
I have no. It sounded weird. It didn't fill me with that thing. But to be honest, the Oscar films for years haven't been particularly good. No. I mean, okay, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer made sense. I'll be frank with you for what it's the only film of any merit that last year. Outside Godzilla -1.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Godzilla -1 turned up at the last bloody moment. No, I didn't forget to charge my camera. I need to swap the battery out because the battery's dead. Charge won't hold. So I've got a spare one downstairs. It'll be fine. But yeah, so shall we talk about Harry Potter?
And the chamber.
Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
So this is the two out of all the Harry Potter movies. These are the two that feel most inconsistent. Yeah, from the rest. So you take these two and you compare them to the rest. They don't feel like they're not quite there. Doesn't quite fit in because they were Chris Columbus directed ones, and we had the feeling, this, that, and the other, and everything after that then had a level of continuity that was missing. So first things first, and Tanith said I'm going to cause an argument with this one. The Whomping Bloody Willow. All right. Now, if you pay careful attention, the Whomping Willow is in the same place they were doing broom practice in the first film,
Yes.
which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yes.
And when Alfonso Cuarón turned around and goes, no, it needs to be outside here, it made a lot more sense.
Yes.
Um,
I've never disagreed with that. I'm not going to argue with it. It bugs my sense of continuity. That's all. It bugs me. You have these little things where things just bug you, and it bugs me. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're wrong. You're not. You're right. It just bugs me. That's all.
Okay.
That's all. It should have been where it was in the third film in the fucking first place. Yeah. I will freely admit that. So no argument for me on that.
that's a shame. I was hoping for an argument. I was actually planning on an argument. But...
Well, I haven't really talked about these films, so it's only when I discuss them with you and you put your thing across. And there are a few things that we're never going to agree on, but we'll draw a line in that. But I see your point here, but it bugs my sense of continuity. I didn't see the need to move Hagrid's hut and things like that. And there are things that I like about these first two films that, again, I didn't see the need to change. But the things I love about this film is the introduction to Fawkes. I've always, I love Fawkes, the Phoenix, and I like that. And I loved what's his face in this film? Gilderoy Lockhart.
Kenneth Branagh was perfectly cast.
Brilliant in that role.
The Gilderoy Lockhart character is apparently based on J.K. Rowling's ex-husband. So that was interesting. And ironically, I think he was having an affair with Helena Bonham Carter at the time that they were filming this, when he was cheating on what was her name, Emma Thompson, who then ironically both of them get cast in the film. And it's weird because if you read the books, Gilderoy Lockhart winds up in St Mungo's, and they visit him later on when they don't visit him. They come across him when Arthur Weasley gets attacked by Nagini. So we got that. I think we're just going through the casting and stuff. And one of the casting, my favourite bits of casting, and my wife with it, is David Bradley as Filch.
Yes,
there's a guy who's got a tiny part, has thrown and consummate professional has thrown everything he can at that tiny part. He's got fuck all to work with, and he's like, boom. And I really appreciate that.
That is one casting we will totally agree on. I loved him as Filch. He was perfect as Filch. As Filch. And I love this film because again, they dicked with the Burrow. The Burrow is meant to be and the Burrow in this is nicer. It feels more Weasley like. When it's just in the middle of the field with nothing else, it doesn't feel.
Oh no, the Burrow, if you pay attention, it's in 3 different locations.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so you've got where it was in the second film, and then where in Goblet of Fire it was nearby a river, and then after that it's in the middle of a field near where the Lovegoods live, which is mad. I
liked the Burrow in this, and again it was how I pictured it. You see that this was the thing, and again I can't disagree with your arguments about Columbus, but the problem is he kind of captured how I pictured reading it for the most part. And yes, okay, there's a few things like where they put the bloody Whomping Willow, and I can hear that argument. I still don't think they needed to move Hagrid's hut, and that's definitely not where it is meant to be in the books at all. and I liked the burrow in this, and and the opening to this is wonderful. The flying car, and funny enough, look who's just come into the chat, because he was the one that went to the massive viaduct where they fly under. That whole scene is quite good. We really get a lot of the Hogwarts Express in this, and then and I like the difference in this film, and obviously you get Moaning Myrtle in this one, don't we? Yeah, we do. We get Moaning
Yes,
Myrtle.
the first time we get introduced to Moaning Myrtle.
And again, she was well cast. She was well cast.
If you go to Universal and you're having a piss in the toilets in Hogwarts, not Hogsmeade, sorry, you can hear her. It's just like she's making noise and stuff around the toilets as you're trying to have a piss. It's quite disturbing, but it's quite appropriate.
That's genius. That's genius. That's genius. I didn't know they did that. I prefer this to Philosopher's Thingy in many ways. I prefer this one.
Yeah. Well, all right. So one of my problems is the basilisk. Yeah. How the hell did it go from being a large snake to the monstrous thing it is at the end? Seriously. Because it's like, oh, it uses the pipes. In the book, they don't describe it as being as big as it is in the film.
Yeah, it's a bit big in the film.
It is. No, it's not big. It's kaiju size. Yeah. It's supposed to be like just slightly bigger than Nagini, if that makes any sense.
I thought it was meant to be bigger than that. I thought it was meant to tower over Harry in the book. I'm sure the book says it towers over Harry.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But you can, if it was slightly bigger than Nagini, it could tower over him.
And the fang that it had was large enough to stab into the book. So I think it's meant to be quite big. It's certainly a lot bigger than Nagini, because I mean Nagini's fangs are only like that. I mean the fang that you get out the basilisk is big enough to stab into the book and destroy it. So I mean it's going to have a reasonably big head, but it's not. It shouldn't be as big as it was. It was too big, but I think about half the size that it was would probably be about right, because you still need a sizable fang to stab into the book, is what they do in the book as well. But again, I liked Richard Harris in this, and I know you're going to shout me down, but I did. And
so my right, hang on a second. When you hear my comment, you'll go, "Oh, yeah, that kind of makes a bit of sense." Richard Harris sounds like he's going to fall over and die.
No, he didn't.
Which,
no,
ironically,
there was a bit of power in that voice in this one when he yells, and again that I don't know. Right, look, we're never going to agree on this one. I like Richard Harris in this. You don't. That's fine. I accept that.
when you get to the Battle of the Ministry of Magic, where it's a showdown between Dumbledore and Voldemort, yeah, that's when that "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire" makes more sense. Because he looks like he wants to kick. He's angry at him. He wants to kick the shit out of him, sort of thing. I like that aggression. I feel like he's going to beat.
But that aggression wasn't there in the book. That aggression is not there. There was never aggression, and this is what I argue. There was never the aggression. Now you guys might have liked it on film, and I understand that, but in the book, Dumbledore was never aggressive, and he never was. He didn't need to be. He didn't need to be aggressive. Even when he turns up and takes on Voldemort, it's like, good evening, Tom. There's this politeness there. And he holds his own. That's the thing about Dumbledore, is that he doesn't need to be aggressive, right? And there are moments. He has his moments where he gets a little bit, peeved off. And I mean, he shuts down Harry at times in conversations, and enough, Harry, go to bed. And it's final. But again, you hear Harry's monologue of it's a respect there. There is a respect. There doesn't need to be this level of aggression. And I always found Gambon too aggressive, but I can hear what you say. I hear your argument on the other end. I don't entirely disagree with it. I just always preferred him. That's my thing. Almost everything else, I think we agree for the most part. Or I can grudgingly agree with you because you make a good point that I find very difficult to argue with, other than, well, I do think it's a personal preference thing. It's why I've never sort of heavily sort of fought the argument with you about it. But I will say that the Dumbledore in the book was never aggressive. Not like that. Not for me. And it certainly was never played that aggressive by Stephen Fry, because I've listened to the audiobooks countless times. Because I
always good
love
for a long journey and exercise. Always keeps you entertained.
And because Fry is so bloody good at reading those books.
See, my missus loves the audiobooks when she goes out for a run and whatnot. And,
I give her that.
When she bought, what do you call it? She bought some other audiobooks from some other places, and she was like, "It hasn't got the voice of Stephen Fry. I'm not interested in listening to it."
It's funny, you know. One of my favorite books in the world is The Martian. And it was read by a certain person who is an amazing voice guy. And guess who they replaced him with because they re-recorded it for its like 10th anniversary, whatever, right? And they fell out with him. So guess who they replaced him with?
Not Will fucking Wheaton.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's awful.
Piss off.
It is awful. And the problem was that Mark Watney was his, not Will Wheaton, the original guy's voice. And I mean, he now does other books that are, and again, there are only a few people because I get what Tanith means about Stephen Fry. I love it, but I like this guy, and he does really good. And there's another American guy that does the Bobaverse books. And if you want some good sci-fi, listen to the Bobaverse books. They're brilliant. As are the X-Force books, but the X-Force books are a bit more comical. But again, these guys have great voices, and I'll listen to them. But I know what Tanith means. I'm listening to Dune at the moment. I'm trying to get through it, but it's tough.
If Stephen Fry was doing it, you'd be fine.
Yeah, I probably would be. But back to this. Sorry. I think, I mean, Kenneth Branagh still really steals the limelight in most of this. And I like the fact that this was slightly darker, this film. It does suffer from being a bit of a Chris Columbus film in some places, but I like this film. I like the music. I like the Dursleys at the beginning. But it was very quick. It was made very quickly after the first one, and you can tell that. So there are moments in this film that you can tell that it's made very quickly after the other one, and the special effects again are not so great, but
I think Dobby kind of stands up, puts in the car.
Dobby
it's
was
like
brilliant.
80. I'm gonna say it's like 80-20 when it comes to 80% of the special effects hold up.
Dobby was fantastic. And the whole cake thing and him being locked up and having to escape, and the Weasleys coming to bust him out, and Vernon falling through the window, all of that was great. What's his face as Lucius Malfoy, again, brilliantly cast.
Jason Isaacs, yeah.
Just a fantastic Lucius Malfoy. And this is the one thing, whilst I am cautiously looking forward to the TV show, because there are things I want them to do better, and I think there's things that they could focus on more. The first season can't be more than 6 episodes at max. So you have to have some seasons with increase the number of episodes, but it's going to be the casting of a lot of this. Because there are characters I know that there are other actors out there that could do interesting jobs. It's whether they can do good English accents, because there's a few American actors that if they can nail the English accent, could play it. Adam Driver definitely has the look of Snape.
Yeah.
Whether he can pull off.
But going to Alan Rickman's performance in it, there's the bit where they're having the duel, Yeah, and Lockhart
Yes.
says, "Oh, Weasley and Potter." He goes, "No, Weasley's Ron's broken." He goes, "If you want to be sending Potter to the hospital wing in a matchbox, then carry on."
Yeah.
And he goes, turns around, and he goes, "Well, use Draco like that." And he does this thing where he quickly turns around and then throws his thumb over his shoulder to take Draco down, and he's delivered brilliantly. Yeah, you get the impression. So
Yeah.
just
No.
fucking up there and do it.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And it is my fear because there are characters I just don't know. There are people that were on film that I just cannot see anybody else playing. Yeah, and it's not the kids. I think all the kids could probably be recast by people, and I could go with that. New kids playing it. I think I miss Rupert Grint the most, to be honest. But the kids, I could. It's the teachers, and you've got to find somebody hugely dynamic to play McGonagall. You've got to find. The trouble is that so many of these characters were played by what we would classify as national treasures. I mean, they're unique, and I don't think you can find somebody that's. You've got to find somebody that's going to be around for 10 years, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you've got to find somebody that's going to be around, and we haven't got that many sort of classics left that could do that. Who would be interested in it? So I don't know who they're going to get to play McGonagall. I feel that the casting on this. I wouldn't want to be the casting director of this remake because there are people I think are irreplaceable. And we can argue about Dumbledore, and there is an argument there, but Maggie Smith, who the hell are they going to get to play Hagrid? Kenneth Branagh was so memorable as Gilderoy Lockhart, although I'm sure there are a few actors out there that could do that part. But Molly Weasley, again, it's the female parts the most, and I suppose you're right, Alan Rickman as Snape. I don't know, mate. I don't know because I mean, this film cemented my love of the casting of the film, and it's the one thing again they did really right in this. And we can argue about a lot of things, but they nailed the casting again in this. Yeah. I don't know who else could do it, but it's my favorite of the two Chris Columbus films. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say so. It is. So Tally said, does she cast unknowns? I think it's probably the safer bet. I think it's probably the safer bet. It's probably the cheaper option too. Yep. Doesn't sound rude or anything. But yeah, it's. I'm just waiting for the Weasleys because of Ginger to be replaced by a black family. Because that's what Hollywood does now.
Will be. Well, Hermione's going to be.
I don't think Hermione's going to.
Hermione will be a black girl in the TV remake. You know it. She will be because she was in all of the that fan fiction theatre show, which is meant to be quite good if you actually watch, but it still reads like fan fiction. But she was black in that, so I suspect I'm expecting that. Oh, I can live with that, right? That doesn't really bother me that much, except. The thing that I always bothered me the most about that whole thing was you read J.K. Rowling originally said, well, there's, I never explicitly said, you described her as having long, brown, bushy hair in the nicest possible way. That's not really a trait of somebody with dark skin. And you approved all of the illustrations in the American books. The English books don't have them, but books around the world have them. My wife has just bought the first two books in Thai, right? And the illustrations are from the American ones, and the covers are beautiful, actually. The covers are beautiful. Again, this is approved by her. But I think Hermione will probably be race swapped. And if you're going to race swap one of the three, that's the one you do, because you can't really race swap the other two, right? Because the descriptions are quite explicit and really Ginger. No offense.
No. Trust me, they'll find some way of fucking it up. But yeah, going back to Chamber of Secrets. It's not. This is kind of like where after this the film find their footings and the continuity kind of becomes a lot more stronger. Everything seems to work a lot better, and it kind of feels a bit more. Admittedly, there are bits in there that don't quite work as well as they should do, but I was trying to work out where Spew came in, and that was Goblet of Fire, apparently. Because I thought we might have been on this one, but it's later down the line. Spew. They'll have that in the TV series, I imagine. They'll definitely have Spew for the oppressed house elves, yes.
This is why I'm kind of holding out hope, because there's a lot of things that they didn't put on film that I'd like to see, and and I'm gonna have to, and all I will say is that when we get to the final film in this series, we can talk about the bit in the book that I still prefer, but I always felt these first two films kind of companioned the books quite well, because of the shorter books, so they got more in there. And apart from missing Peeves, which was the big thing for me, most of it that I wanted to see there was there. It's only when we start getting to the latter films that they started missing.
They also cut out Professor Binns too.
Yeah, but Binns,
because Professor Binns is the one who tells them about the Chamber of Secrets, not McGonagall.
This is true, but you get Binns in the game if you know where to look.
I remember that, because it was like, oh my god, Professor Binns, even though he shouldn't have really been there at that time. He should have been maybe alive at that time.
Out of everything in that game, that is the least the least bad thing.
They have the ghosts kind of, what do you call it, dance and dinner thing that they got that was in.
Was it the Headless Hunt in the second one? I thought the Headless Hunt wasn't until.
No, I think it is in the fourth or third one. I can't remember.
I'm sure the Headless Hunt isn't the second one.
But
again,
you know what?
Go on.
I was going to say, what I'm looking forward to is to hear Luna Lovegood do the commentary on the Quidditch match.
Yes.
Which they never put, which would have been hilarious for the films.
Nick's Death Day party. Was that the second one? Tony?
No, it wasn't the second one. It wasn't. I just trying to remember it was. They had a party to go to, and they had a big kind of. I can't remember. Anyway, we'll cover that another time.
They only really had Sir Headless Nick in the first one, and it was obviously John Cleese. And again, I have to admit, that was brilliant casting, but bad casting, because you were never going to get him back for the other films. And it was apparently okay. And Headless Nick, needed to be in there at times, and we didn't have him. So again, the one I think I agree with Tony. Cast unknowns that are willing to stick around for all 10 seasons, or 8 seasons, or 7 seasons, or however many seasons. I think they're going to do 7 seasons, but each season's going to be sort of longer. You could nail that. You could cut down the 5th one a bit, but no, I you're right about the fact that everything ticked a bit better in this film, and Dobby was good. I've forgotten Dobby, and I only just watched it a minute. Dobby was fantastic, actually. Yeah. But I can't watch that now very easily, knowing what I know. That is bad. I mean, that is bad, and you guys have been there. Send me a picture. It's, oh, Dobby.
Dobby's great. Yes, me doing the Flash thing was like kind of. Anyway, I think we need to wrap it up.
Worst death. It is the worst death in Harry Potter. I mean, Hedwig bothers me, but Dobby just fucking gets me in the heartstrings every bloody time.
Yeah. I suppose it's the death that they went on, because everyone else died pretty quick, and you had to move on fast. So yeah, that one had time to breathe.
Yeah, it's Dobby that gets me every time. Even in the book, Dobby gets me every time. I do get quite emotional with Dobby. It gets me. It really does. Anyway, we should wrap up, because next week is going to be an interesting one. So, yes,
what's happening next week?
Well, we've got the third one, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh,
yeah,
Azkaban. Azkaban. What's Azkaban?
Yeah.
Prisoner of Exit Man.
Yeah, that'll do. Anyway, I'm going to just say it's been emotional.
Thank you very much for listening. We will be back next week, and goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later.